Hi and welcome to my review of The Goodies, the complete BBC collection. Today we're up to It Might As Well Be String. The Goodies advertising company is taking a very aggressive approach to their campaign until Tim objects. Looking for a product they can market honestly, Tim lands on string. But as usual, the boys take it way too far. Now, it's been quite some time since we had any Goodies ad parodies, but this episode is all about the ad parodies. In fact, the whole episode is a parody of ads and advertising. One of the ad parody highlights for me was Graeme as Captain Fishface. He's quite sinister here. Now, a quite adult joke in this one that I do not remember from when I was little is when Graeme and Bill are doing the live ad performance for Tim, and Graeme utters the line, "And she's a terrific lay." Now, I laughed so much at that I had to pause the DVD. I was wondering if this was edited out of the version that we saw on the ABC in Australia, or if perhaps this joke just went over my head as a youngster. I'm not sure, but I just don't remember this at all. They do seem to be pushing the adult content up in this series, and particularly so with the wet t-shirt model in one of the ad parodies. But to be fair, this episode does balance it out with a lot of images of men in their underwear. Another highlight for me was All Natural Tim, and also Sex Mad Tim, which is something we don't see too often. I also enjoyed seeing Bill having a giggle at Sex Mad Tim's jelly on a plate mime bit. Something else I really loved in this episode was the sight of Tim in his white dinner jacket and sunglasses on the beach. Has Tim ever looked cooler than he does in this ad parody? He looks amazing. Now, we haven't seen a patriotic speech from Tim in a while. He does make a speech in this episode, but it is not a patriotic speech. But all Tim's talking up of himself in his speech is undercut by a reference to his other television show, Hello Cheeky, which does seem to have not been as big a success. I thought the collapsing Tomorrow's World set and that whole Tomorrow's World segment was beautifully staged. Another thing that made me laugh in this one was the sight of Graeme in a bra. This is not something we get to see very often. But of course, one of the biggest highlights and the most memorable things from this episode is the song Everybody Loves String. And I think this is one of their most memorable songs ever, because once you see the episode, you can't ever forget it. Guests in this episode include Raymond Baxter and the fabulous Valerie Leon, sending up her high karate advert. And Valerie is also very fondly remembered by Hammer fans and James Bond fans. I thought this was a really interesting episode, and it takes something that the Goodies were well known for doing earlier on, the ad parody, and it makes the whole story about those ad parodies, and it's a parody of advertising itself. This is another episode in which a very coherent first half gives way to a more chaotic second half. But unlike Hype Pressure and some of the other episodes where I felt like that hasn't worked so well, in this case it works really well, as the chaos comes from the ad parodies taking over the show and the story. This show is what would now be described as very meta, and it even ends with the sight of the boys watching the episode through the TV screen. It's like we're watching them through the TV and them commenting on the end credits. And Graeme even remarks that it's surrealism. This episode to me still makes it seem like they are really still challenging themselves to try different things, to try different ideas, and also they're still pushing the envelope of what half an hour of comedy could be. It is different, it's still very inventive, and it's still very funny, but it's different. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you'll join me next time for 2001 and a bit. I'll see you then. Bye.